Bron Breakker kicks out 2 Vision members. Did LA Knight leave WWE? CM Punk shares a missive regret. New details on a backstage accusations against John Cena. Gunther sends a message to John Cena. MJF returns to AEW with major plans in motion. Ric Flair's podcast return on Hogan's death backlash. Jade Cargill attacks a fan. Jason Momoa shows off Blanka look to Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. Montez Ford is WWE's mysterious masked attacker. Let's dive right in. Did LA Knight leave WWE? This past week on WWE Raw, LA Knight was destroyed by the Vision's Bronson Reed and Logan Paul in a ruthless backstage attack. After losing his match to Paul following interference from a mystery man, the Vision took him out in the ring. Bron Breakker then cut a promo, hyping up his upcoming World Heavyweight Championship match with CM Punk. Shortly after, Reed and Paul resumed their attack on Knight backstage, driving him through a table and then slamming him down on top of a car. Reed then finished him off by executing a tsunami on the hood of a car as Knight was taken away by the medics. Many superstars have been written off television with a brutal assault ahead of their exit from WWE. Fans have been wondering whether Knight is on his way out of the company as well, following the vicious attack, and the answer is no. The former United States champion reportedly has years left on his deal with WWE and is set to be positioned as a major babyface heading into 2026. So, he might spend some time on the sidelines, but will likely return to programming in the coming weeks after some rest. In a recent episode of the Busted Open Radio, Bully Ray slammed WWE for its booking of LA Knight. The megastar tapped out to Gunther in the finals of the Last Time Is Now tournament, and the former tag team champion claimed the finish made him look weak. Maybe we should protect LA Knight in the finish, which they did not. I was very torn by the actual finish. LA Knight tapped out. Now, here's why I was P. You could have pinned him, but you didn't do that. Or you could have had him pass out to the move, he said. There is no word on when Knight will be back after being torn apart by the Vision. It remains to be seen how the company books his return in the coming weeks. CM Punk shares a missive regret. CM Punk has been absent from WWE television since Survivor Series War Games. With John Cena's last match scheduled for Saturday night's main event on December 13th, there's an update about Punk's status. At Survivor Series Inside War Games, a masked man attacked the reigning World Heavyweight Champion. It allowed Bron Breakker to capitalize and earn the win for Team Vision. Breakker is set to face Punk for the title on the first episode of Raw in 2026. According to Mike Johnson of PW Insider Elite, WWE is planning a lot of surprises for SNME. One of the names mentioned who could make an appearance on John Cena's final show as an active in-ring performer was CM Punk. The Second City Saint is expected to be at the Capital One Center in Washington, D.C. to at least give his support for Cena and cheer him on in his final match. They had a heated rivalry in the 2000s, and it culminated at Night of Champions earlier this year. But why has CM Punk been absent from WWE television over the past 2 weeks? He's currently filming The Bodyguard, a movie being produced by Netflix, starring Leighton Meester and Jared Padalecki, as reported by Deadline. To promote his upcoming retirement, John Cena appeared on multiple shows and did a lot of interviews. One of those shows was Chris Van Vliet's Insight, and Cena discussed his relationship with some of his peers and rivals. A part of the segment had CVV asking Cena to describe the names he'll be mentioning, and when he said CM Punk, the GOAT had an amazing compliment. My wrestling soulmate, Cena said. The Never Seen 17 is set to end his in-ring career this Saturday. He'll face Gunther in his final match. It's not a goodbye because Cena has already signed a new 5-year contract with WWE to become an ambassador. During a recent appearance on What's for Lunch, he reflected on his run inside the octagon. Punk said that he regretted not starting in MMA early in his career, noting that it's a young man's sport. I wish I started sooner. That's the only thing. I started so late I was already old. It was just kind of like a bucket list thing, but it doesn't mean I didn't take it seriously. I trained my A off, got in shape, did what I could, but yeah, I started way too late. It's a young man's game, he said. The voice of the voiceless made his UFC debut at the age of 38 in 2016 against Mickey Gall at UFC 203. He lost the bout early in the first round. The former WWE champion would return to the octagon at UFC 225 in 2018 to take on Mike Jackson. However, he suffered another defeat via unanimous decision. New details on a backstage accusations against John Cena. John Cena is preparing to retire as the greatest of all time this Saturday, but his career wasn't without controversy. Now, as we get closer to that big date, some new information is coming forward. New details have surfaced about alleged backstage issues involving John Cena and several former WWE stars, as Maven offered new insight into the tension linked to both David Otunga and Alex Riley. The Tough Enough Season 1 winner discussed the topic on Café de Renee with Renee Dupree. David Otunga has been vocal in recent weeks about his own experiences with John Cena from their time together in the Nexus. Otunga and Cena even held the WWE Tag Team Championship, but Otunga has said he carried frustration for years over the way he was treated. Maven said he reached out to Otunga after hearing his remarks. Not only did I see it, Otunga's comments. I texted David afterwards and we texted each other back and forth for a good 30 minutes after that. You can tell, and you could see in his delivery that this is something that's ate at him for years. Maven added that he does not know whether Otunga's claims have full accuracy, but he said the emotion behind them was clear. If what he says has credence, I don't know. I wasn't there. But he talked more about the Alex Riley/Kevin Kiley incident. There's just a lot that doesn't sit well with him. Maven continued by pointing to lingering tension Otunga still carries. He said that it is evident at this point as well. You can just tell. There's animosity. There's bad blood. Now, could that bad blood be he got a bigger push than me? I don't know. Like I said, I wasn't there. Maven said Otunga is now in a place where he no longer feels the need to protect WWE. That being said, there may be more to this story, because he seemed to gloss over some details. Texting back and forth, I'll give you the book report version of what we talked about. He's held in his truth for so many years, and now his truth, he's done with that. He's at that stage, the Maven and Stevie, Richard's stage with WWE, where he's not looking for anything from them. Maven added that Otunga seems ready to speak more openly. He also had nothing but great things to say about Otunga. I don't know if he's on scorched earth mode, but he's not protecting their image anymore. That's what I took from it. And full disclosure here, I like David a lot. David has never been anything but super nice and just respectful of what we do. Maven closed that portion of the conversation with a warning. You could tell, more is coming, he said. One of the most talked about cases linked to Cena's controversy involves Alex Riley. Riley once said a single backstage confrontation with Cena drastically changed the course of his WWE career. Riley had momentum on screen between 2010 and 2012, especially during his run with The Miz, but his push stalled abruptly. WWE never confirmed this publicly, but the story has circulated among fans for years. Maven offered his own experience with Riley, whose legal name is Kevin Kiley, and how Riley first opened up to him. Alex Riley's real name is Kevin Kiley. In 2009, I had gyno surgery. I had my bitch tits fixed. The guy did a good job. I was living in Tampa, and I hooked Alex Riley up with my guy who gave a severe discount on what the price should be, probably did it for half the cost. Maven then said Riley showed appreciation by taking him out to dinner. So he had good things to say about the former WWE talent. So, to thank me, Kevin took me to dinner, and that's when he first told me about his issues with Cena, and to say that my mouth hit the floor would be an understatement. Maven chose not to share the details of Riley's story. Again, not my story to tell. Not my story to tell. I wasn't there, Maven said. We will have to see how John Cena wraps up his WWE career. His final match against Gunther will be historic. It will be interesting to see how many stories come out along the way because his in-ring career is over, but he is going out as one of the top faces in WWE that will ever exist. Gunther sends a message to John Cena. John Cena's farewell tour ends on December 13th at Saturday night's main event. Cena will face Gunther in his retirement match, though there have been contradicting reports about it. The consensus among the WWE universe is Cena versus Gunther will be the main event of SNME. However, there was a report from Brian Alvarez of the Wrestling Observer that the GOAT's final match will open the show. WrestleVotes Radio countered the claim via Fightful Select by saying that WWE is still mulling if John Cena's retirement match is going to be the main event or not. WWE insider Andrew Baydala agreed with WrestleVotes Radio's report, stating on his official X account that Cena versus Gunther will not be the opening match of SNME. I've seen the reports, and I understand they are given what they are given, but I can tell you that as of today, and things change rapidly. John Cena's last match will not open SNME, Baydala tweeted. Cena not main eventing his final show would send fans into a frenzy. He deserves to get a proper final farewell for all the things he has contributed to the industry. While some fans are not happy that Gunther will face John Cena in his final match, the ring general had a strong message for the GOAT. Gunther expects himself to not just win the match, but also make Cena tap out for the first time in more than 20 years. The last chapter will be written on Saturday. The question, is this going to be a happy end or is it going to be a heartbreak? I'm going to do everything in my power that it's going to be a heartbreak. I'm looking for him to give up, to admit he can't go no more. It's what I'm going to go for, and I think that's where the drama is as well in that match, Gunther said on The Rich Eisen Show. Cena vs. Gunther will be held at the Capital One Center in Washington, D.C. Besides the advertised matches, there will be surprises in store for the WWE Universe to celebrate the never-seen 17's career. MJF returns to AEW with major plans in motion. It looks like MJF is finally on his way back to AEW, and he's not coming back empty-handed. Brian Alvarez dropped a major update on Wrestling Observer Live, confirming that Maxwell Jacob Friedman has wrapped up his film commitments and is expected to return as early as next week's AEW Dynamite, just in time for the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal at Holiday Bash in Manchester on December 17th, 2025. Alvarez didn't leave much room for doubt when it comes to MJF's participation in the Battle Royal, where the former world champion has been untouchable for years. Now, the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal has been taking place for 5 years now, and every single year the winner of that ends up being MJF, Alvarez said. Nobody else has ever won the ring. So I can't say 1000% that MJF is going to be in that match, but I mean MJF's going to be in that match. He has no film commitments at this moment. Even more interesting, MJF has already been spotted backstage at AEW shows. Alvarez confirmed. In fact, he has actually been backstage. I don't know how many times, but he has been backstage at least once recently, and they tried to keep it low-key, but he has been there, so he's returning. And when it comes to the AEW World Championship picture, MJF is still very much in the mix. Alvarez reminded listeners that Friedman still holds the contract that guarantees him a future title match. Of course, he has the briefcase, contract, or whatever to get the championship match. So, conceivably, he could also be in that World's End 4-way main event for the title, or how many people it is. Alvarez explained. So I presume he'll make his return for the Battle Royal, then we'll see what happens with the World's End main event. MJF hasn't been seen in action since after his surprise loss to Mark Briscoe at All Out 2025, but with the Dynamite Diamond ring on the line and the World's End main event looming, his return could shake up AEW's landscape fast. Do you think MJF walks back into AEW and takes the Diamond ring for the 6th straight year, or is he coming for that world title next? Ric Flair's podcast return on Hogan's Death Backlash. Ric Flair is heading back to the mic, and this time he's promising to unload on everyone who has a problem with him. Just hours after attempting to quiet criticism over his disputed comments about Hulk Hogan's death, Flair shifted gears and dropped a major update. He's returning to the Joe Rogan Experience. The WWE Hall of Famer confirmed the news on X, making it clear that this appearance won't just be a casual chat, it'll be personal. In his own words, Flair wrote, "I am so thankful and happy to announce that I have been invited to be on a Joe Rogan's podcast again. I will be discussing my problem with everyone who has an issue with me, with the great Joe Rogan." This latest announcement comes as Flair continues to face heat over his claim that Hogan may have turned to street drugs before his passing, an accusation that Hogan's widow, Sky Hogan, and multiple family sources have firmly denied. Flair attempted to walk back his comments earlier this week, saying he was repeating what he had heard from others. He then posted what he claimed was a message of support from Sky Hogan, though the note's suspicious formatting raised more questions than it answered. Now, Flair seems ready to push back, on his terms, via one of the most powerful podcast platforms in the world. With Rogan's massive reach and unfiltered format, Flair is likely to address not just the Hogan controversy, but any and all public criticism that's come his way. Whether this move helps clarify his stance or just fuels more controversy remains to be seen. Will Ric Flair's return to the Joe Rogan Experience help him regain control of the narrative or dig the hole deeper? Jade Cargill attacks a fan. Jade Cargill's luxury taste just rubbed someone the wrong way, but she didn't let it slide. The WWE superstar took to Twitter and tagged her husband, ex-MLB star Brandon Phillips, in a playful tweet about upgrading her Lamborghini because she wanted another one for Christmas. "I asked for another Lambo for Christmas. I love my Lambo truck, but I'm over it at Dat Dude BP." That tweet caught the attention of one hater, who decided to take a shot at her connection with WWE's fanbase by claiming her expensive taste is why she doesn't resonate with the WWE audience, saying, "And Jade and WWE wonder why she doesn't resonate with fans." The WWE Women's Champion clapped back immediately, refusing to let the shade go unchecked as she made it clear that making such an accusation over a car is a weird take, saying, "Because of a car? Weird take, bro." This isn't the first time Cargill has turned heads with her choice of wheels. In 2024, she posted photos of herself shopping while flaunting her Tesla Cybertruck. Whether it's a Cybertruck Flex or a wishlist Lambo, Jade isn't slowing down, and she's not taking any unnecessary criticism either. Love her or hate her, Jade Cargill is going to do things her way, and that includes rolling in style. What do you think? Should pro wrestlers keep it relatable for fans, or is there room for a little luxury in wrestling personas? Jason Momoa shows off Blanka look to Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. The Street Fighter hype didn't end at the Game Awards. Jason Momoa just gave fans a raw look behind the curtain with Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, and the chemistry is real. Right after the first teaser for the live-action Street Fighter movie dropped, Momoa hit Instagram stories with a behind-the-scenes clip that brought some serious star power. The video shows Momoa linking up with WWE legends Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, and it didn't take long for things to get playful. Momoa kicked off the interaction with a nod to the moment. The two Big Joes just met. Roman, clearly enjoying it, fired back with his signature cool, "Big Joe, baby, yes sir." That's when Momoa pulled out the real goods, his Blanka character design. He wasted no time showing it to Roman and gauging his reaction. "All right, no, pull it up, let me see it. There's Blanka. What do you think?" Roman didn't hesitate. "Fierce." Momoa was all in on the energy and waved Cody Rhodes over to join in. "Fierce, bro. Has got lost right now, Cody. Yeah, I know I wasn't on set with you, but look at that. There's Blanka." Cody's reaction was just as strong. After taking in the look, he added, "Oh, look at him." Then Cody gave his final verdict. "Porosity. Real feral. My gosh, you look great." Even though the three didn't all shoot scenes together, the clip made one thing clear. They've got a dynamic worth watching. Roman Reigns is set to bring Akuma to life, Cody Rhodes will suit up as Guile, and Jason Momoa takes on the role of Blanka while also serving as a producer. Directed by Kitao Sakurai and backed by Legendary Pictures with distribution by Paramount, Street Fighter is slated for a theatrical release on October 16th, 2026. This latest behind-the-scenes moment adds even more heat to what's shaping up to be one of next year's most talked-about crossovers between pro wrestling, action movies, and gaming icons. Are you feeling Jason Momoa's take on Blanka? And how do you think Reigns and Rhodes will hold up in the Street Fighter universe? Montez Ford is WWE's mysterious masked attacker. WWE fans thought they were closing in on the identity of the company's mysterious masked attacker, but a new update just flipped the entire narrative. Earlier in the week, speculation ran wild after Brian Alvarez reported that Montez Ford was believed to be one of the performers under the hood during the December 8th episode of Raw. WWE had deliberately used multiple wrestlers to play the role, making it harder for viewers to figure out who was behind the attacks on LA Knight, Rey Mysterio, and CM Punk. Ford was named specifically as the individual who appeared in the main event segment, leading many to believe he was being groomed for a major role, possibly even joining the Vision faction led by Seth Rollins. However, that theory has now been shut down. On November 11th, 2025, just 2 days after the initial speculation, Alvarez returned with new information after checking in with his sources in WWE. He reported that Montez Ford is not the man under the mask, and that the previous assumption was incorrect. The company appears to be leaning into the confusion, using various performers to keep the audience guessing, and it's working. This development not only removes Ford from the equation, but also resets the mystery entirely. WWE's long-term direction for the masked storyline remains unclear, and while Austin Theory is still a name floating around behind the scenes, nothing has been confirmed on screen. The storyline began at Survivor Series War Games when the Masked Man delivered a curb stomp to CM Punk, a move associated with Seth Rollins that immediately sparked fan theories. The attacks continued on Raw, and each appearance has added more fuel to the fire. Now that Montez Ford is officially ruled out, the guessing game starts all over again. WWE's strategy of misdirection seems to be paying off, keeping the storyline unpredictable and fans on edge. Do you think WWE is building toward a major reveal with a new rising star, or just stretching the mystery too far? Bron Breakker kicks out 2 Vision members. Bron Breakker is set to have his shot at CM Punk's World Heavyweight Championship on the January 5th, 2026 episode of Monday Night Raw, which will also be the Red Brand's first anniversary on Netflix. That said, in a massive turn of events, Breakker might kick 2 of his stablemates out of the Vision after the upcoming bout. Bron Breakker has been showcased as the one taking on more of the leadership role within Paul Heyman's group since the stable backstabbed Seth Rollins on WWE Raw following Crown Jewel in Perth. After taking Rollins out of the scene, the dog of WWE was aiming for a World Heavyweight Championship shot, but was unsuccessful. However, he has now finally gotten the opportunity to face CM Punk for the gold next month. To hype the upcoming showdown, the Vision delivered a promo on this week's episode of the Red Brand Show after attacking LA Knight, who lost to Logan Paul in the main event due to interference from the mystery attacker from the men's War Games match. However, the Maverick and Bronson Reed went too far with their feud with Knight, as they also viciously assaulted him backstage. Given this incident, Raw General Manager Adam Pearce might decide to punish the Auszilla and Paul for their actions by suspending them indefinitely. If that happens, nobody will be in Bron Breakker's corner during his World Heavyweight Championship match against CM Punk, and there is a possibility that he might lose the bout. If that happens, a frustrated Breakker could kick Bronson Reed and Logan Paul out of the Vision amid their potential suspension. He could then recruit talented new members into the group and officially take over as the leader of the stable as part of a blockbuster storyline. While this angle might sound convincing, it is speculative as of this writing, and only time will tell if this will come to fruition. If the scenario plays out, the creative team is likely to give Bron Breakker another shot at the World Heavyweight Championship, since it appears the company is considering giving Breakker a significant push in his career. If this is confirmed, there might not be a more prominent event to achieve this goal than WrestleMania 42. To pull the trigger on this move, the authorities might book the dog of WWE to win the Elimination Chamber match to earn a world title shot against CM Punk at Mania, since Roman Reigns is likely to win the Royal Rumble match and face Cody Rhodes at the Show of Shows. However, this angle is also speculative, and nothing has been confirmed yet.